Hello and welcome to the quarterfinals of Grand Prix Boston. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Hall of Famer Randy Buehler, and we're underway. Philip Napoli versus West Havenich, and we've got an Infect mirror somehow here, Randy. Now, talk to us real quick about how this deck works, what its goals are.
Yeah, the goal is to get a creature with Infect onto the table, either Glistener Elf and Blighted Agent. Glistener Elf is nice because it's one drop. Blighted Agent is nice because it's unblockable. And then the Ink Moth Nexus is the other option, which has flying. So
Ichor Claw mirror too?
Not usually. I see Viridian Corruptor in Napoli's list.
Oh, wow.
I don't see Plague Stinger for Hovenich.
Interesting.
These are not it's not a 60 card mirror. I mean, same core strategy, which, Glistener Elf. But so then the point is you get an Infect creature, and now the rest of your deck is Giant Growths. Whether it's, Distortion Strike for Napoli, Might of Old Krosa, Groundswell, Vines of Vastwood, Mutagenic Growth, Apostle's Blessing can defend somebody in a pinch, Pendelhaven can pump somebody up, Exalted Triggers from Noble Hierarchs can pump somebody up, but you can really win the game in one attack. I mean, those Giant Growths are all designed for thinking, oh yeah, well the opponent's going to be at 20, right? Oh, here's Gitaxian Probe. That's both players run Gitaxian Probe, 4 for Hovenich, 3 for Napoli.
Okay.
It's nice to know what you got to play around.
Yes.
Like if you're going to go essentially all in and just point your entire handful of Giant Growths at one creature, it helps to know whether they have a removal spell or not.
All right, so let's take a look at Phil Napoli's hand. He's got that Pendelhaven we just mentioned, also an Inkmoth Nexus, but he's got a Blighted Agent. That's the only Infect creature I see there. He's also got Might of Old Krosa plus another Noble Hierarch, and then that's a Mutagenic Growth in the background. So, it's pretty nice draw here, really. I mean, he's going to have a Blighted Agent with the backup plan here, but I actually don't know what's the most important thing in this mirror. I mean, unblockability seems ridiculously good to me.
Sure. But I mean, is he really going to... He's not going to put Noble Hierarch in front of Glistener Elf, right?
I don't know.
It's a little scary. I don't think you can block here.
I don't think so either.
You're just getting too far behind, so he takes 1 poison.
Ooh, Plague Stinger, which is basically Havenich's impression of the Blighted Agent. They're pretty similar.
Yeah, I mean, surely he has Blighted Agent too.
He's got 4 Plague Stinger,
he does have
4 Blighted Agent. Yeah, he really likes the evasive one.
He has more Infect creatures than Napoli does. Yeah, Napoli plays the Blighted Agent, plays another Noble Hierarch, so now 2 Infect triggers get that Blighted Agent up to 3 power. Did you say he has a Pendelhaven?
Yes.
So that's 4 power, and then he had Groundswell plus Mutagenic Growth, so he can attack for 10 next turn, if my math is correct.
Yeah, that's 10 exactly.
I mean, he needs a land to trigger the landfall on Groundswell, but he has the Pendelhaven, so yeah, I think he can attack for 10 unblockable on turn 3. Not bad, right?
Pretty amazing, and it's also lethal now.
Here's the question,
though. Poison. Can he
Will he survive?
Yeah,
he has to survive Hovenich's turn 3.
And if in order for him to win the next turn, he cannot block.
True story.
Yeah, so, wow. This is a very compacted game, right? I mean, we're talking about turn 3.
He might be able to block with, if he blocks with Blighted Agent, he may be able to actually get the Nexus up to the same 10 power we added up for Blighted Agent.
Oh, okay.
Although, yeah, I don't know if that's... Oh, yeah, pay 2 life for the land. That life is completely meaningless to these guys. It's all about Infect. It's all about poison counters.
Now, here's Might of Old Krosa on the Plague Stinger. So
play the land, trigger the landfall, so that's +4. That's now 5.
That's actually just during the main phase, that one.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Groundswell is the landfall one. If he has that too, then this game's going to end very quickly. That's 5 in the air plus Glistener Elf. And remember, PNAPS already has 1 poison counter as well.
Right. So he's trying to figure out whether he cares about Glistener Elf.
Can he get 3? Like, does 3? He needs to get 3 more poison in. West does.
Right.
So exactly, Phil Knapp says, well, can he do it on the Plague Stinger? Because interact with the Plague Stinger.
Right. So if it's a
Mutagenic Growth,
like Mutagenic Growth would be 5, 6, 7, 8, but that's 1 short. Mutagenic Growth is not good enough, even if Napoli takes this. I mean, yeah, his decision here is whether or not to block with Blighted Agent. If he blocks with Blighted Agent, then it's because he's planning to win with the Nexus.
Yeah, this gets really interesting because remember, if West just does nothing,
Yeah, he
Oh,
knows.
this is super interesting because Wes actually has his own Inkmoth Nexus that he could leave back to block.
Yeah, you gotta just take it.
Nothing.
Like, there's nothing that does 3 anyway. Mutagenic Growths do 2, Groundswells deal 4, Vines of Vastwood deals 4. I'm not sure there's any reason to block. Because the difference between...
Because Groundswell kills you anyway.
Yeah, Groundswell kills you anyway, and Mutagenic Growth doesn't kill you either way, except 2 of them kills you anyway. Like, I think you just take it. I don't think the 1 poison counter from the Glistener Elf matters.
Rich, what do you got going on?
Nathan Jones against Alex.
What? There's a but?
There's a but, because this is the Affinity mirror. So,
Sure.
of course, they're now in the slow and grindy turn 3. Everyone else is doing sensible things like Thoughtseize and Inquisition of Kozilek.
Makes sense.
Thank you, Rich. All right, so Phil Napoli looked like he was going to block
Thought
with, of
about
all
it.
things, a Hierarch. And
Was
just
he
said,
looking for a tell?
And I think he was, because then he's just
looking
like,
for a tell?
take it to the... He got his read, and he's like, we're taking it. And that puts him up to 7, but Wes didn't do anything with that mana.
Yep.
Shouldn't matter, though. Blighted Agent... I mean,
I don't know
Wes
how
doesn't
he
have any
interacts
way to
with Blighted
interact,
Agent,
right?
right?
Yeah.
I don't think we're missing anything.
So Phil's just got to do the math. There's Pendelhaven.
Yeah.
Pump my Blighted Agent.
Yeah, now it's 2.
Tap for some mana. Might of Old Croza. That's 5, 6, 7 on the board currently. What are you tapping your mana for, Wes? Vines of Vastwood?
Isn't that...
I thought that was only...
Yeah, I think
creatures
that
you
only targets
control.
your creature.
Let me look it up real quick, like.
Really? You can make your opponent's creatures untargetable? Is that the one time
Target
R&D?
creature can't be the target of spells or abilities
Yeah,
your
that's the-
opponents control this turn.
Target creature can't be the target of things your opponents control? Wow. Yeah, I think that was the one time where R&D let through that wording, and then it switched everything over to only being able to target your own creatures with those green untargetable effects. So Vines of Vastwood does totally interact. The question is whether Napoli can pump it enough as a response. He goes for Mutagenic Growth. He can.
He can.
He goes for Mutagenic Growth.
2, 4, 5, 6,
So
7, 8.
Mutagenic Growths are 5. Pendelhaven is 6.
4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's 8 for the native power there.
But that fizzles, and Vines of Vastwood obviously wasn't kicked. So no, he's at 8.
Yeah.
Pendelhaven's 2. I think he got it to 8. I think that the...
I'm counting 8.
Yeah, I'm counting 8.
Now,
He can blind now, but he does... And the Hierarch can block Glistener Elf.
yes.
So he has a pair of blockers for both of Hovenetch's creatures, and then Pendelhaven alone is enough for the Blighted Agent to win on the Crackback. Wow, I didn't realize Vines of Vastwood could fizzle the Infect
That's awesome.
Giant Growths.
Somebody's played this mirror before.
Yeah, yeah. No, these guys knew what was up.
All right, here's Inkmoth Nexus to the skies. And ship ye old team in there.
Oh, he can only block 2 of the 3.
He can only block 2 of the 3, so a pump spell will do it.
Any pump spell?
Take 2, lose your Inkmoth. Or take 1, I mean. So Napoli jumps up to 8 poison. Wes is at 8 poison. And is there anything he can do? I think he's got 3 Noble Hierarchs in his hand. So I think Napoli is...
I mean, he has to fizzle
Gonna
this
get there.
Pendelhaven with another Vines of Vastwood, which he can't do. So there you go.
And that's it.
Game
Phil
1 to
Napoli.
Phil Napoli.
Wow.
You know,
Phil Naps looks to the skies for a minute there. Look at it.
if you look at it, Hovenetch had that Vines of Vastwood. If he'd been able to kick it, he would have won on his turn 3.
Oh, wow.
But, you know, he didn't have the 3rd green mana because he had that Inkmoth Nexus.
Yes.
So he wasn't able to pay the kicker cost. He
Wow.
would have just given his own guy +4/+4 and won the game on his turn.
So close. All compacted down to 3 or 4 turns,
Yeah,
too. Great stuff. Pop in on our Affinity mirror here.
Yeah.
Nathan Jones. He came in first in the Swiss, 42 points. He's from Canada, playing against Alex Bertoncini. And, yeah, there's a whole heck of a lot going on here. And it looks like Bertoncini is chump blocking with a Signal Pest here.
What are the full art cards?
Those are Mem Knights.
Ah, okay. I haven't seen that Mem Knight promo. Cool.
Yeah. And Bertoncini has Galvanic Blast to kill an Ornithopter.
More importantly, to kill the creature wearing the cranial plating.
That's right.
He doesn't have black to move it, does he? got an opal.
He's got one opal. I don't see a drum anywhere.
I don't see a drum.
Bertoncini has a 6-powered Arcbound Ravager on the battlefield.
This matchup can definitely get intricate. And then sometimes you can just
that was lethal.
kill your opponent
yes.
by pointing a burn spell at their face.
Yes.
So Nathan Jones, up a game on Alex Bertoncini. Hovenech studying the deck list that the players are provided with, see what's going on after sideboarding. Obviously, we didn't understand how Game 1 of the Infect Mirror works. I think we only missed one interaction. But what happens after sideboarding?
What do their boards look like?
Napoli is on Nature's Claim, Spellskite, Dispel, Wild Defiance, Twisted Image, Hunt the Hunter. Hunt the Hunter seems like it might be
Hunter.
Kills a
Although
Glistener Elf.
It kills a Glistener Elf,
Doesn't
but
kill
then
anything else,
it
does
leaves
it?
the token behind, the counter still, right?
No, isn't that the I get +2, green creature gets +2, and fights a green creature?
But that's your Glistener Elf against theirs.
Sure.
And it picks up a
the
counter.
-1/-1 counter. Yeah.
So that doesn't really work.
That doesn't work. Twisted Image can kill Hierarchs.
Yes.
But that's probably not worth bringing in. Spellskite might make sense.
It does kill Spellskite.
Spellskite can steal their Giant Growths, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that seems really relevant.
Yes, it does.
And
Twisted Image can kill Spellskite, so that's important.
Well, Napoli looks over and does not see Spellskite in his... Oh, he does see Spellskite in his opponent's board. His opponent has Inquisition, Dismember, Abrupt Decay, Spellskite, Corruptor. So presumably they both bring in Spellskites, but Napoli has the trump with his 2 Twisted Images in that fight. Hovenech has Inquisitions. Those seem really good here.
Yes.
I guess the Corruptors are good at killing Spellskites too?
The Inquisitions are really interesting because, the draws when we see the Infect deck lose are when they just don't have the Infect creature. They've got all the pieces, but they don't have that one thing to sort of build their whole game plan around.
Your point being,
what
sideboarding out, anything you sideboard out hurts?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you bring in Inquisitions if you're sitting in Wesley's side and just peel off the one Infect creature from what would be normally a great keep, and all of a sudden Napoli's like just desperately hoping to peel one of his Infect creatures from the top of his deck. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. You definitely have to be careful with a deck like this not to dilute your deck too much.
Absolutely.
How good is Apostle's Blessing in this matchup?
It seems great. Yeah. I mean, you're not protecting your creatures from removal as much, but getting, pseudo unblockability is fantastic.
Phil's got 1, Wesley's got 4.
4?
4 main deck.
I don't know if you want all 4 here. I mean, if you're protecting from removal...
What does he not have? Wesley has... Is the 4 Plague Stingers that Napoli doesn't run, and he has the 4 Apostle's Blessing. Phil has... I guess he has Corruptor's main.
And it looks
3
like Wes has them all on the board.
Yeah. Phil has 3 Corruptors where Wesley has the Plague Stingers. Oh, Distortion Strike. Phil runs Distortion Strike where Wesley has Apostle's Blessing. It's like they're getting unblockable one way or the other.
Wild Defiance as well. There's 1 in the main deck for Phil Napoli. Card is, it just basically makes everything you cast on your creatures a Giant Growth as well.
Crazy.
Yeah. Rich, we're in between. What do you got going on over there?
Well, not an awful lot on the battlefield anywhere else, it turns out. Pierre Dageon against Robin Dola, that's Rock against Rock. They have 22 cards in the graveyard between the two of them,
nice.
And no non-land permanents in play.
This would maybe be why we didn't start on that match.
Yeah, they at least have a couple of cards each in hand. Meanwhile, Andrew Boswell on Rock against Mark Tobiash of Germany with Blue Moon. Well, they have 19 cards in the 2 graveyards. They have 1 non-land permanent each.
Is it a Blood Moon?
No, Mark Tobiash has a Batterskull down. Andrew Boswell got down Chandra Pyromaster and then proceeded to sort of parlay that into a free Scavenging Ooze. So that's where we are in that one. They're both playing very grindy. All the cards are in the graveyard, basically, in both the other quarterfinals. So that's where we are.
So in other words, Randy picked well. We stayed out of the meat grinder. I mean, those are kind of fun to watch, but I like these. Like this game we had with Wes versus Phil was really cool.
Also, we probably get to watch their game 3.
That's right. Yeah, it's just not every day we get to watch the Infect Mirror in the top 8 of a GP on camera. It's pretty awesome. Looks like Phil's doing the old super shuffle here.
Don't have a lot of Pro Tour storylines left here, right? Oh, the Affinity's already off. Bertoncini with the turn 1 Thoughtcast? Or is that turn 2? That's turn 2. Got his Opal active, a couple Ornithopters, a couple extra cards. It's a good start. None of the True Gas, though, yet, right? He needs a Cranial Plating or a Ravager, a Master of Ethereum, something along those lines to really take advantage of the fact that he's dumped 5-6 artifacts into play. You occasionally see the draw where they get nothing but a bunch of Ornithopters.
Yeah. I usually rejoice when that happens.
Uh-huh. Nathan with an Opal of his own.
Was that a grudge?
Yeah.
Ooh. He's prepared for the mirror.
He targeted the Opal. No colored mana for you.
Interesting.
Yeah, especially with that draw, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, he might have prioritized the Cranial Plating higher, but with none of the superstars in play, and that as his only colored mana source, it seems like a fine choice. His Opal gives him the ability to flash it back, too. All right, back to the Infect shenanigans.
All right, here we go. Let's see how this game plays out. This is, of course, a post-sideboarded game, so there will be some influence from the boards, though. Looking at them, nothing really jumped out to me as, oh, you just got to have that.
I think you want Spellskite.
Do they have Dismembers? Oh, there's some.
Hovenetch does.
Uh-huh, that seems pretty good in this matchup. It's just free. It's 1 mana. All right, so Noble Hierarch for Wes. And what does Phil have on his turn 1? He's got a Glistener Elf.
That's what you want on turn 1.
I like that.
Yeah, if you could play turn 1 Glistener Elf in every match, this deck would be a lot better.
Yeah, if it had 8 Glistener Elves.
Oh, yeah.
They make do. And here's Inquisition of Kozilek on turn 2 from Wes. So
looks like he boards those in.
Yeah, it might have been too late, though. You really want to hit that Glistener Elf. Like, let's take a look at what else he's got going on.
You think you should have led Inquisition instead of
I think so. Like,
Hierarch?
I think you just have to take away their Infect creature. Look at his hand now. Might of Volcroza, land, mutagenic growth. And yes, he does have another Infect creature, but it's not. It's miles away. It's not till turn 3. This is what you want to see when you Inquisition them, except for you want to do it on turn 1 and take away that early creature. Now he's going to have to deal with that Glistener Elf in a pretty big way. And he's got to be super careful here, too.
Yes.
I mean, Phil's got lethal.
Yes.
Easily.
He's got turn 2 lethal.
Yeah, he cannot leave the door open. Yes, he has a turn 2 lethal draw here. Play a land, Might of Volcroza, mutagenic growth, you're dead.
One of those is going to go down to the Inquisition here, but...
Yeah, or he could, depending
but
on
I
what
do
he's
think
got.
that Noble Hierarch's feeling a little nervous. Noble Hierarch is looking over there going, uh-oh.
I'm here for work,
isn't good
boss.
for me.
Reporting for duty. And the boss is like, go stand over there.
Noble Hierarch is like, why did you play me instead of the turn 1 Inquisition?
No kidding. So let's see what he's got to follow up with. Now, he can take this opportunity if he has a Dismember to fire it off here.
Wow.
He's attacking.
Bold.
So I'm assuming he has it.
I mean, well, with the Might of Volcroza in the graveyard, it's no longer a lethal draw.
There it is.
But there's the Dismember anyway.
Yeah, that's how you do it, too, against this deck. You do not let them untap, and especially don't let them draw a land or draw a card, because they'll find that Vines of Vastwood every time.
Yep.
Rangers, Guile, you name it, they've got it.
All right, well, if he's got Dismember, then leading with the Hierarch seems way better than the Inquisition.
Totally.
Yeah.
He even mised the damage there, didn't he?
Yeah, for whatever that's worth.
I like that. And Napoli has to pass the turn back. So Napoli's 1 turn away now from getting a second Infect creature on the battlefield with the Viridian Corruptor. But in the meantime, Pendelhaven plus Noble Hierarch on the Inkmoth is
Nexus hits for 3.
Threatening 3, 4, 5, 6,
how about 7?
I mean, Phil has 1 unknown card for Wes.
Right.
And that's going to be lethal.
Wow.
4, 8, 9, 10.
Wow.
He gives him the sort of half handshake because he realizes,
Oh,
why don't we
wait,
play
I still got
another
game
one?
3.
Yeah, we got a game 3.
Oh, he lost. Oh, wait, I won the first one, didn't I?
Yeah.
It was a good draw, though. That was a hell of a draw.
That was insane.
That was a turn 3 kill, and he both dismembered an Inquisition.
Yes, he did.
I'm going to take a card out of your hand.
Yep.
I'm going to kill your poison creature. I'm still going to kill you on the
And I
third
kill
turn.
you on turn 3.
Wow.
Oh, incredible stuff.
That was worth the high five.
And by the way, Phil had a turn 2 kill draw.
Yeah, it's unmolested.
I mean, those were 2 incredible draws for both opponents, but
Scary
Wes's
deck.
was slightly better. Make sure you join us next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Pro Tour Magic 2015. We're going to be coming from Portland, Oregon. We're going to be watching Standard, M15 Draft in the hand of the top Magic players in the world. It is going to be one heck of an event that also is a culmination of an entire season of Magic that lasted over a year. And this is going to set the stage for the next coming year with who's platinum, who's gold, who made it to silver. The side tables, what's going on over there?
Really interesting choice that turned out not to be interesting. Pierre Dajon has down Liliana of the Veil and Garrick. He's clearly ahead. Robin Dola has 2 cards in hand. He's at 12 life. They're both Dark Confident. He thinks for ages, do I play one? Do I wait? Do I play both and hope? He eventually decides, yeah, I'm going to play both and start looking at the top of my deck. He never gets to look at the top of his deck. End of turn, Dark Blast 1, Dredge back, Dark Blast the other. Thanks for playing. Dajon wins 1-0.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Mark Tobias is still kind of stable against Andrew Boswell, in large part because Boswell's very large Tarmogoyf isn't on his side of the table, because Vidalcan Shackles has that for Mark Tobias.
That's a lot of islands.
There's a lot of islands going on, because that's still game 1, don't forget. So they're still going at it, but Dajon leads Dolar 1-0.
Thank you, Rich.
Are we going to game 3 on the Affinity Mirror? No live look-in?
The double shuffle
With
look
the
in?
shuffle cam.
No. We do not want to see the double shuffle, Rashad.
Picture-in-picture shuffling?
Yeah. All the new tech here at the Grand Prix. So Phil Napoli still with a smile on his face here, even though got kind of beat up there. A few more rounds before we get to crown our champion here in Boston. Fantastic turnout for this tournament for those of you just tuning in on the weekend. We had over 2,400 players. We think it's about the fourth biggest Magic tournament ever.
North American. Haven't there been big ones overseas?
You know, there have been, but they've been in this range.
Yeah. There've only been 2 that have gone over the 3,000 mark, and those are both over 4.
Yes.
So I lose track of like 2,500-ish.
But we're in that next tier, which is, you know, not a lot of them.
Yeah, but I mean, I would believe that there have been both Japanese and European GPs bigger than this.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's true. But huge, right?
Huge,
2,400
for sure.
plus players, all playing modern.
Yeah, I mean, there have been, 150, 200 Grand Prix in the history of the game? We're in the top 5-ish.
I think I did 150 of them this year already, but...
Well, you and Shuhei.
Yeah.
Did you see that stat from Paul Jordan?
No.
He was putting stats together for the Pro Tour.
Uh-huh.
Shuhei Nakamura has played in 40% of all the Grand Prix that have ever happened.
Wow, that's incredible.
He's played in like 150 of them. Some
that's
ridiculous
unbelievable. What a great stat. PJ brings the knowledge.
Yeah,
That is a great little data bite. Wow. Lots of fireworks here on Alex Bertoncini versus Nathan Jones. In the Affinity Mirror, of course, both decks off to a quick start, as the deck tends to do.
Nathan had won the first game, right? Bertoncini was playing second when we looked in.
Yeah.
So that Ancient Grudge, Bertoncini survived it and won anyway.
Yes, he did. Yeah, Nathan, remember, he finished off with that Galvanic Blast in the first
Yeah.
game.
Does Rich know how Game 2 ended here? Or you got something else for us?
I have Germany leads 1-0. Where have I heard that before?
It's
Mark Tobias over
8.
Andrew Boswell.
8-0. 8-0. Germany leads 8-0.
Germany
That was
leads.
the semifinals.
I
Yeah.
was so mad when they gave up that goal. Anyway, go on.
Moving swiftly past that, Tobias added salt to the wounds, having stolen the large Tarmogoyf with Vidalcan shackles. He then equips his own Batterskull to it,
Oh, jeez.
and then kills Boswell with it.
That is
So,
salt in the wound. Goodness
yeah,
sakes.
so that's 1-0 to Mark Tobias, and obviously you're heading for Game 3 in the other matches that you're live looking and so on.
Cranial plating on the Vault Scourge. Some nice life gain. What is it, 4? 5?
I think those are both
Citadels?
Citadels.
Yeah, so 5. 6 power. 6
Yep.
6 power lifelink attacker. Connects.
Not too bad.
I thought James Jones was going to win that game, too.
Mhm.
He had the grudge, the opal. I guess the thoughts he had Phil Bertoncini would.
And of course, those are both artifacts adding to it.
Yep.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7.
Woo! 8 power swinging in with lifelink. We don't have life totals on our
one
live
more hit's
looking
gotta be
graphic,
lethal.
but yeah, that was
I mean-
14 that he did over the last 2 turns, or maybe even 15.
It's going to be really hard. It's hard to imagine Nathan winning this turn. It seems like what he needs is an answer to that flying cranial plating.
I don't think he has it.
Yeah, meanwhile you can see Napoli playing turn 1 fetch land for a hierarch.
Yeah.
Pretty curious to see the... We can kind of see both of them though, right?
Can kind of see both of them.
I mean, Nathan Jones is up against it.
And this looks like a pretty clear-cut
Yeah, there's
scenario,
the handshake.
and that's it. Handshake.
Bertoncini through to the semis.
All right, let's head back to our main feature match. We don't want to miss it. The game could be over by the time we get back. It's a Noble Hierarch for Phil Napoli on turn 1. Perfectly reasonable start. And what does Wes have for his first turn of the game?
A fetch land.
That's
I
a
bet he's
start
going
as
to pay
well.
2 life and not care.
It must be so liberating to never have to care about that. And, all right, mirror
Dueling
indeed.
hierarchs. They fetched out different lands, though, so
Mhm.
totally different draws.
Yes. And let's see what Phil Napoli has for the
Ink
second
Moth,
turn.
Blighted Agent.
So he's got a Blighted Agent now that he potentially could protect with the Noble Hierarch, depending on what cards he has in his hand. And then, of course, the Inkmoth Nexus will loom in the background there until it becomes relevant. All right, the mirror continues here.
Hovenetch with that green mana. Could be a Dismember. Could be a Vines of Vastwood. Blighted Agent not blockable, but can be targeted.
God, this must be the most nerve-wracking mirror, too. Like, look what happened to Phil Napoli in the last game. Like,
Right.
put himself in a fine position and was like, oh, guess I'm dead.
Yeah, Pendlehaven. He's thinking about targeting the agent, but he wants to make sure that he's ready for what's going to happen if Vines of Vastwood comes flying down. That's I think what that pump fake was.
I think you're right. Last
if
time he led off with the Pendlehaven.
Right.
And
It got to resolve.
yeah,
And then Vines happened as a response to a Might of Old Crosa.
Right, because Wes was like, okay, fine.
It's just a weird permissioning element. He's like, is it
Yeah.
okay if I Pendlehaven my guy? And Wes says, sure, 2 power.
And make it 3 thanks to the Noble Hierarch
Settles
here.
for the 3 poison.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And is he just going to ship the turn back? Yeah, he is. So he's going to leave back a blocker on the ground that can't do anything and a flyer in the air that currently can't do anything. But he's got mana up.
Yep.
Might of Old Croza. All right, is Wes going for it right here? This, of course, is
And
during
again,
the main
it's
phase.
this weird permission battle.
Is this going to be a
They
Vines
both
of
have a
Vastwood?
counterspell in their deck.
Yes, he's got Vines of Vastwood. Now, the question is, what else does Wes have in
Yeah,
his
in
hand?
theory, as a response, he could cast a bunch of giant growth effects. In theory.
I think
He
he
played a land, so...
I think he's got maybe like another Might of Old Croza and a pair of Plague Stingers, possibly. I can't
Okay,
quite
so this
see,
is Might of
but-
Old Crosa as an instant, right? What is the exact wording of Might of Old
No,
Crosa?
it's if you
as
cast
long
it
as it's
during your
main phase, it counts?
Yeah, so it still counts as +4/+4 here, even in response to Vines of Vastwood.
So that gets it to 5.
Yes.
You don't blow another Vines of Vastwood, do you? Is this
I don't know.
is this West trying to bait out a second Vines?
He could get in for 6 potentially here, or
4, 5. Yeah, that's if it resolves, that would be 6, counting the Exalted
counting
Trigger.
the Exalted Trigger. So if he has like 2 mutagenic growths or a ground
Yeah, but so you let this resolve, right? And don't you, if you have another Vines, obviously you should think about it here, whether you have it or not, because you want to represent it.
Yes.
But if he does have another Vines, I would respond to the next one,
Yeah.
the mutagenic growth or the whatever is going to happen next. Yeah, I think you just take 6 if he doesn't have anything else.
Yep.
So, note, if it wasn't for Vines of Vastwood, Phil's dead.
Right.
Right, that was 10 power. Wes had a turn 3 kill.
Yes. Now he's got 2 Plague
Phil broke
Stingers
it
in
up.
his hand, but he doesn't play one.
Yeah, leaves his mana untapped.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he taps out for Plague Stinger, it's really easy for Phil to just Giant Growth it up.
The question is Phil going for it? Also, does he have the tools? Taps 2. Plays
Spellskite.
Spellskite. Wow, okay, that's going to change things. That's going to effectively blank any future pump spells.
Also
From
blanks the
Wes.
Vines of Vastwood.
Yes. Of course, it does take a card slot, meaning it's not a pump spell itself, so it makes
And
it
it
less
costs 2 mana.
likely, yeah, for Phil to have what he needs to finish Wes off this turn. But it is going to make his
Yep.
life a lot easier. Yeah, Wes with 2 Plague Stingers in hand doesn't have a lot going on here, but he doesn't need much either. A Groundswell or a Might of Old Croza is not
1,
enough.
2, 3. Take 3. Now, again, Vines of Vastwood would have been enough to be lethal here if Phil hadn't had to use it
Yes,
to stay alive.
absolutely. All right, another land here for Phil as well. And pass a turn back. So both players sitting at
Still
6
down to 1
poison.
card.
Yeah. And what was it? Is it a land for Wes? Yes, it was an Inkmoth Nexus.
He can get half of it. Here's 2 poison. Unblockable. Phil actually needs a pump spell. Right? He can only attack for 3 poison next turn. And he'll die to the crackback
Yes,
too.
he will. And here's a Plague Stinger now for Wes.
Sure. So it's
as
pump
well as
spell
an
or no.
Inkmoth.
If
Yes.
Phil Napoli can pump his Blighted Agent, 1 point
He
is all
needs
he
to
needs.
get 1 in. It can be a Noble Hierarch.
Yeah, Exalted will do it.
This is a big
Oh,
draw
the
for
slow
Phil.
roll. He's not even
He's
looking at
getting
it.
the sweat, not only for us, but also for him. Moves his pen out of the way and now takes a look at it. Was he deciding if he wanted to crack that fetch beforehand?
Oh, maybe.
Now, he's cracking it now.
Yeah, I mean, it turns on landfall for,
Right.
which shouldn't matter.
It
Like
shouldn't
anything is
matter.
good enough. Unless we're. Oh,
Is this it? It is. It's Groundswell.
Groundswell.
That's
There's
going
the
to do it.
hand.
Phil happily peels and gets there.
Wow.
PNAPS moves on to the semifinals.
That was off the top, right? It had to be. He would have just cast it last
I think
turn.
it was. Yeah, I think it was just for sure off the top. That was insane.
Wow.
Wow. Phil Napoli.
Through to the semis. He'll be playing against the winner of Pierre Dejean and Robin Dolar. Meanwhile, Alex Bertoncini will be playing against the winner of Andrew Boswell and Mark Tobayash.
Now, just a quick question here. Like, what does Blue Moon look like against Affinity?
Doesn't seem very good.
It seems a little sketchy, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of slow. The Blood Moons are...
I mean, they
They're
turn off the
okay.
manlands.
They turn off the manlands. They're no longer artifacts, I believe. I think.
They're just straight up
I
basic
think they're just
islands.
basic mountains.
Or mountains, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're artifact lands anymore. I don't think.
Now,
Not
junk
positive.
against Affinity, though, that's a lot worse, right, for the Affinity player?
Yeah, well, in particular, the junk version of the rock deck.
Yeah, they've got lingering
But that's not
souls.
junk.
Oh, that's the Jund
Andrew
one,
Boswell
yeah.
is on Jund, not Junk.
Right.
Which is worse in the Affinity matchup.
Yes.
Right? I mean, Lightning Bolt's super good, Olivia Valderan's super good, but they're not as good as Lingering Souls against Affinity.
No, it's not. Yeah, he's got more power, but less time to use it, so.
Are we stuck with two games in progress on the back table? One of them's being moved right now? Awesome.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah, last I heard, Dejan was up a game and Tobiash was up a game. So yeah, here's what? Game 2 of Tobiash and Boswell. They're not
Looks
on
like it.
Infect decks, of course. Tobiash is on Blue Moon. Boswell is on Red Rock.
Red
Jund
Rock. I like Red Rock.
Well, we went White Rock was the
Yeah.
the rock version with the Lingering Soul splash.
I mean, most people just call it Jund, but
Right.
I like Red Rock.
I like Tarmogoyf.
I like Goyf on
Yeah,
turn 2. It looks
especially
like
when you thought seized away the Vidalcan Shackles.
Vidalcan Jackals, yeah.
That's the story that graveyard tells.
Absolutely. All right, Tarmogoyf looks a little less good now. He's going to start picking away at graveyards.
Tobiash with the Blue Moon deck on the left is the one who's up a game here. This is game 2.
Yeah, that is one thing that you'll see is that the mana base from the Jund deck is pretty fragile ultimately. They've got Manlance they rely on to finish the game sometimes, and on top of it, they're just a straight 3-color deck. Oh, wow.
Huh.
Sword of Feast and Famine. That's threatening. Even on a Tarmogoyf that's a 0-1, that thing can do work.
Yeah. He's gone the slow route with his relic.
Mage.
He's trying to go one card at a time. Didn't
Yeah,
want to pop.
he's going to start picking apart his graveyard because he gets to choose, and he can take out, like he took out an artifact there to
Right.
shrink the Goyf by a full point.
Yeah, choosing either the land or the sorcery doesn't shrink it, though.
No. So he's 2 away from that.
The Goyf is just 2/3, right? 3 lands and 2 sorceries.
Right. But looks like it's going to be 4 power pretty soon from that sword if Mark doesn't find something to do about it. Andrew has been careful to fetch out 2 basic lands here, the Forest and the Swamp. And Mark is going to get a basic land of his own, except for
A mountain. What would you cast with that
I
mountain?
don't know. No idea. I can't think of anything.
Did you have Blue Moon
No.
and Infect in your
No.
top 8 when you
Nope.
come?
Did not.
I mean, the Rock decks make sense. They've been having a good weekend. If 2 Affinity, maybe it's perfectly reasonable. Not a pod deck to be found.
No. I'm shocked
You know where the pod decks were, by the way?
9th
10th and 11th.
10th and 11th, yeah.
10th and 11th. Nathan Holiday, Jacob Wilson, 2 great pod players, just
And I
did
think
not
it's worth
have
noting,
the day 2 tiebreakers they
yeah,
needed.
I mean, that's the thing is that those decks were the same records as a lot of the decks
Yeah.
we have in the top 8. It's not like they missed
4 of
on
the 8
record.
players on 13 and 2 got
Yeah.
into the top 8, and 4 of them are on the sideline bemoaning their tiebreakers.
Right.
And with the tiebreaker reset, the tiebreakers feel awfully random.
Yes.
Especially to Nathan Holiday, who went 9-0 day 1. Normally, tiebreakers reward you for that, not when they reset. And Jacob Wilson, who has gone 13 and 2 at consecutive Grand Prix without getting a top 8 out of it.
The beats.
Yeah.
That is brutal. Serum Vision's Scry is being resolved here, both to the bottom, says Mark. Rich, what's going on our side table?
So this update begins with Pierre Dajon and Robin Dolar both having a 4-5 Tarmogoyf in play. Then Dajon makes a second one, so he now leads 2-1 in the Tarmogoyf stakes. Then it's 1-1 because a 4-5 Tarmogoyf can get dismembered. And can also get Abrupt Decayed, and that's what Dolar does to the other one. So now Dolar leads 1 Tarmogoyf to none. And then he casts Fulminator Mage and removes the only coloured source from Dajon's side of the board, leaving him 2 Tectonic Edges. And that was all she wrote. So it's 1-1. They're moving on to the Phil Napoli table, so they're now going to be under the cameras for their game 3. So when this is finished, more Magic coming your way.
Bravo, Rich. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Could watch a game 3 instead of a game 2. We get everybody on camera.
I want to watch their game 3, yeah.
Yeah, let's watch their game 3 whenever they're ready, obviously. Yeah, we'll switch over to their game 3 once they get started.
So, the Thrunfather has shown up. Not the second to last troll, the very last troll. And he's ready to pick up that sword and fight whenever Andrew wants to go for it. And there it is.
Wow.
Do we have anything to say about that,
Yeah, remember
Mark?
when this game was about that Tarmogoyf and the Relic?
I remember that.
Yeah, we've left that part of the game behind, I think.
We have indeed.
What does he do about Thrun? He can't
I have
shackles
no
it,
idea.
even if he had a shackles.
Yeah.
Can't. Wow.
Like, red can't target it. He can blow up the sword, but Thrun just on his own is a big enough problem.
Yeah.
With the sword, forget about it. I don't know what he does. Let's see if he's got something here.
Cryptic bounce the sword.
Here's a Cryptic.
It is Cryptic. I mean, he's either tapping all the creatures or bouncing the sword. I think I would bounce counter. No, he's going to tap. How much permission does he actually have? Can he, like, bounce the sword and then counter on the way back down?
That is one of the ways that you can
still
get out
doesn't
of a
answer
mess
the
like
Thrun,
this.
though. It only answers the sword.
That's right. And scavenging news now from Andrew Boswell as well. So, you know.
Boswell wants to go to game 3.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Tobias, he's supposed to be disrupting Andrew's plan and his mana and all that stuff, and none of that's happening. Mark is kind of very contently playing Tarmogoyf, sword into Thrun, and now, yeah, sure, I got a scavenging news
It's a smart
too.
addition for Boswell. Can't be countered, can't be targeted by them.
Yeah.
Thrun is a gigantic pain in the ass for a deck
Yeah,
like Blue Moon.
he just needs to find the 2 green sources to cast it every game, and
Sure.
he's done that here.
Oh, yeah, sure. You're still playing this Relic Tarmogoyf game, aren't you?
He's got to keep an eye on it, but it is not the most important thing, that's for sure.
Yeah, that Thrun is from the sideboard. 1 Thrun in the board, not in the main.
So, the last troll.
The last troll, absolutely. Batterskull's not nothing.
It's not nothing, but it's still not that
Feels
great.
outclassed.
It does.
6/6 sword-wielding Thrun the last troll.
It'll help stem the bleeding, but I mean, we're thinking long-term here, right, Randy? And
Yeah.
you know what? It actually won't anyway, because that germ is black. It can't block anyway. It can attack back and gain him back some of the life, but this is ugly. That Thrun just, I can't imagine how Mark is going to get out of this outside of bounce and counter. And that's a pretty tall ask here. And plus, we also have to remember that Thrun's going to close out this game fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I don't think Scavenging News has a huge effect on Mark's game plan. It can mess with Snapcaster Mage. Uh-oh, what is this, Olivia now? No, Chandra Pyromaster. This is turning into a bit of a bloodbath
Yeah,
here.
no blocking for your germ token, right?
That's
now
right.
Tarmogoyf and Scavenging Ooze get through.
That's right.
And of course, he taps his land pre-combat because he's expecting to connect with the sword and get to untap them. Got anything to do with that land? May as well eat something.
All right, in come the clowns.
Clowns?
Yes.
You wouldn't say that to their face.
Not to throw in the last troll, no. Especially not with that sword in his hand. Goodness. I'm not sure how big Tarmogoyf is here.
Well, Mark seems to have fallen to 2.
But he's down to 2. And did he not
the sword
connect?
not trigger?
What happened there?
I don't know.
Because he's supposed to untap his
Is
land.
it not Feast and Famine? I thought you said it was Feast and Famine.
I guess it could have been Light and Shadow. Maybe I missaw. It's hidden now.
Which one's in his list? Light and Shadow. It's
okay,
Light and Shadow.
so he jumped back up to
yeah,
16
not
here?
Feast and Famine. Yeah, Light and Shadow.
All right, well, still protection from black and still +2. Sorry about that. I thought it was the other one.
All right, attack with the Batterskull Germ. Gain some life. 6 is not good enough, though.
No, he's just dead if he doesn't do anything here. Thrun on his own can get in there. All right, there's a Snapcaster Mage in hand now for Mark, though. If he has another mana, he can flash back the Cryptic Command.
Can we picture-in-picture the two matches?
I'd like to keep an eye on this game.
Yeah, I kind of want to make sure this...
I also want to watch the game 3.
Yeah, there we get the Rock Mirror started in the lower right. Thoughtseize takes out, or no, something takes out Dark Confidant.
Yeah, it looks like that Cryptic Command is getting flashed back to tap down the squad here and draw a card.
So it's a new Cryptic.
Oh, sorry, yeah, right. Brand new Cryptic.
Yeah, he didn't have the 6th land to Snapcaster it.
Okay. And there's Fulminator Mage.
Interesting. Maybe he has the 6th land now, but Fulminator Mage can mess that up.
I guess he figures he can cast that even if Blood Moon's out.
So Andrew Boswell on the right of the big screen, trying to force game 3. Thrun wearing a Sword of Light and Shadows seems like it ought to be good enough, but Mark Tobiash is putting up a decent fight here. He's gone through the Cryptic Command to tap them, Cryptic Command to tap them, take 1 hit. Wow. Electrolyze, Fulminator Mage?
That's not going to be a great result.
Yeah,
for
no,
him.
that's going to get fizzled. Which means he's not going to get the card. I guess he wanted to clear a path to make sure he got through with lifelink.
That's right, because
If
otherwise
Fulminator Mage was going to block and sack, and there would have been nothing for the Germ token to deal damage to, there would have been no life for Tobiash.
So the Batterskull takes down Chandra Pyromaster, but he's still got this Thrun with a sword to deal with.
Yeah. Oh.
And is this
Scavenging Ooze is
just
eating the Cryptic
tearing
commands.
apart? Ugh.
There is a Snapcaster in Tobiash's hand, but...
Yeah, he's another mana away now. That's 2 mana
Right.
he needs to do that anyway, so he's probably not too bummed about it, but this is just getting ugly. Is it time for him to crack that relic and just go for it?
Apparently not.
You know, draw a card at some point here? He's using it to manage his opponent's graveyard,
Yeah,
but
how
his
does he
opponent's not
survive this
super
turn?
graveyard dependent here.
That kind of sucked into this game. I want to see Dajan and Dolar.
I can't stop staring at Thrun the Last Troll.
No,
holding
me
that sword.
neither.
I
He's
just
been in
can't-
play for an awfully long time.
Yeah,
Don't
he has.
expect a sword-wielding Thrun to be in play for this many turns.
No, he usually finishes the job.
The Liliana dueling with Dark Confidant in the other game. I think Liliana killed a Tarmogoyf, and then Dark Confidant was the follow-up play. All right. Thrun. Just Thrun. Protection from Black Thrun. 6/6 Thrun. And...
Vendilion Click. That is a blocker.
Targets Boswell. Sees Tarmogoyf and
something. Is it another Fulminator Mage?
Can't tell.
I think that's what it is. Neither of these super relevant, I suppose.
I mean, you can leave them.
Yeah, it was a Fulminator Mage. Yeah, and he's going to push it down to the bottom and give Boswell a fresh card here. Of course, he still gets to keep that Tarmogoyf in his hand. Meanwhile, Thrun is still on the beatdown path. And can Tobias take it? Yeah, he did. So he gains 3 life. He's not going to get a creature back here.
Yeah, no, the relic is seen to that.
He
found a Battered Skull.
Battered Skull.
Ah.
Not too shabby.
Surely this is enough, right?
Tobias
has to fold at some point. He has to just fall over and die.
He has to at some point. He has proven unwilling to do so.
Relic. It's a Desperation Sack draw card time from the Relic. I mean, the attack, he took 6 there, right? Down to 3, if I'm not mistaken. I guess Battered Skull can get him back up to 7. But Thrun can pick up a Battered Skull.
Yeah, Tobias down to 3 life.
I guess
Boswell's
then,
at a
but
comfortable
he's got
19.
the Vendilion Click he can chump with.
He does.
So he can buy himself a turn that way. Crazy. Now it's dueling Lilianas over in the Dolar Dajan match.
I think one of them has a 4 on it and the other one has a 1 on it.
I believe that's true as well.
If we used our even super special cool coverage dice, that would be even easier to see.
Okay, Battered Skull attacks, Battered Skull blocks. Both players lose their germ tokens and gain 4 life. This seems better for Boswell.
Yeah, Tobias goes up to 7, but now that turns on all the other creatures that Boswell has.
Now what? Put Battered Skull on Vendilion Click?
So we have the life at 7 to 23 here. There's
Shackles.
Shackles.
What does that do?
3 islands? That's a Sulphur Falls in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So 3 islands.
Yeah, I mean, it grabs blockers.
Yes.
It grabs potentially Scavenging Ooze. It grabs potentially Tarmogoyf. I believe those are both small enough to grab, I think.
Battered Skull onto Thrun. He has not left up any regeneration mana, but that shouldn't matter here.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter.
It's a 9/9.
Yeah, but it's going to get blocked by a Tarmogoyf or a Scavenging Ooze.
Absolutely. Got to take the ooze here, right?
I mean, if the Tarmogoyf is small enough, don't you take Tarmogoyf?
I mean, ooze is just you'd rather have that dead, right?
I guess that's true. Okay, well, Tarmogoyf is heading into the red zone.
Goyf gets to get in here, though. Wow, this has been an incredible game.
Yeah.
You know, we were mentioning how tough Thrun is, and it has not been dealt with. Like, Thrun is still there and isn't going anywhere, but at the same time, Tobias has managed to maneuver his way into a spot where he's at least fighting on some axes here. He's still using that relic every turn to keep the Tarmogoyf at bay. Tobias is down to 4. He's got enough mana to go for an equip.
Yeah, but
can he?
It's equip or shackles.
And if he equips, he can only hit for 7.
Tarmogoyf is 3. Land instant. Is it a 2? I think it's a 3.
There might be a sorcery in there too.
Yeah.
All right. Tarmogoyf comes over to the wrong side of the table, but
throw the Tarmogoyf in front of it, right?
yeah, Boswell's like, sure, I'll just chew through all of my creatures and then your creatures and then you. Remember, Boswell's got huge life total here.
He's gonna block with the click.
It's kind of interesting.
Not the Tarmogoyf.
You got to figure he's gonna. Oh, he's got another Vendilion click.
Oh, cute.
Does this prevent the life gain?
It does. It does. The legendary rule, he chooses to keep the one that's not blocking, which means there's nothing for Thrun to deal damage
That
to.
is sweet.
Which means he misses out on a turn of the Batterskull lifelink.
Now I couldn't see all of the cards there in Boswell's hand.
He chose to take nothing, right?
But he took nothing, so there's nothing super relevant there. Now what does Tobias do? Attack. Not attack. What is he doing?
Meanwhile, Dolar and Dajen still no non-land permanents.
Yeah. It's pretty tough to stick one of those in that mirror. Here's 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana. Are we going for an equip here? Is he thinking about equipping Batterskull to the Tarmogoyf?
Yes.
He is. Man, that's where Abrupt Decay is just nasty. But he saw his hand, so. He knows exactly what Boswell has, so he knows he can get away with this. So I think it's 7. 7 power Tarmogoyf is going to get blocked by Thrun and die.
Sure. But gain some life.
And gain some life. And pass a turn back. He's just got the single red mana up. He does have a Vendilion Click looming that can block Thrun, but Thrun's also not lethal at this moment.
Right.
Ooh.
Oh, Liliana's pretty good.
That changes
You tick
things.
down, kill the click. Relic does eat the Tarmogoyf, but Thrun can come through this turn.
Yeah, Thrun gets to get in there.
Now threatening to be lethal again next turn. Surely Tobias falls over now.
Yeah, I think he's at 2 now.
He's definitely at less than 1 Thrun hit.
Or maybe even 1. 4, 8, 9, 10. I think he's at 1.
And Boswell's at like 40-ish.
Yes.
What a crazy game.
What an insane game.
Looks like we'll get a game 3, though.
All right, he is at 2. Wow, just so close.
I said that before, though. That whole looks like we'll get a game 3.
Yeah. Boswell's at 56.
56,
Which
sorry.
in my book is the same thing as 40-ish, by the way. I mean,
fair.
we're splitting hairs. He's over 40 life.
Liliana goes down to Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, make sure there's
Imagine
no... when we get to that match, I don't want any non-land permanents. I want that room cleaned up by the time I get home.
All right, here's a Snapcaster Mage for a Ponder. Serum Visions.
Yeah.
Dolar's been playing Land Destruction down there in the lower right. Used the Tech Edge earlier. Now here's a Fulminator Mage.
Oh, he's all about the fun. All right, Tobias passes the turn back. He's up a game here, and he is trying to survive Thrun. He's got 2 lightning bolts in his hand.
Well, Liliana ticks up.
And one of those lightning bolts gets used immediately on Dark Confidant. And here's Repel to get back the Snapcaster Mage, prevent the life gain.
This is insane.
Draw a card and potentially line up that same play.
Hits?
This is insane that he's still alive. Liliana's sitting back there.
It's a 10-10 life-linking pro black and white Thrun.
Lightning Bolt to finish off Liliana. Again, though, we keep coming back to this, but that Thrun is not going away. Like, what's the long game? What's the...
I don't know.
Like, he's doing a great job of not dying.
Yes.
But what does the long game look like?
I don't
He
know.
knows. Like, he's
Does
building towards something.
He's not just, like, trying to have more camera time?
That is possible.
Snapcaster. Maybe the repeal? What do you think? Yeah. How about we repeal?
Let's do it again. And he is chewing through his deck quite nicely here.
Crazy.
Now, Boswell has a basic forest, so he's going to be able to regenerate Thrun even through like a Blood Moon or something to that effect. So that's not going to... He can't do something where he like quadruple blocks Thrun with no regeneration, man. That's not an option. This is just ridiculous. Ooh. Oh. Tobias was very helpful.
Fulminator it's going to get stolen by Vidalcan Shackles, but Boswell wants to force Tobias to spend 2 mana on the Vidalcan Shackles, because otherwise the Fulminator Mage is lethal.
Yep,
All right,
goes
fine,
for it.
yeah. That was make you spend 2 mana, then kill your land.
That relic has still not been cracked.
Fulminator Mage is successfully attacking for damage in the other match, by the way. Dolar's pressuring Dajan with it right now. All right, we're still a Snapcaster Mage, so it's not going to end this turn.
Jeez.
Oh, a Cryptic Command, which can get Snapcastered next turn.
Yep. So the big question here, though, is what is he building to?
I don't know.
Does he have grudges?
I mean, like Boswell's on 56. It's not like...
That's an issue. Does he have some type of artifact destruction? And he continues to just wheel through his deck. Yep. I saw a Blood Moon in his hand. Ooh, there's a Treetop Village.
It gets stolen by Shackles.
Yes. And another Snapcaster off the top here for Tobias.
I feel like eventually he gets decked. I don't know how he wins.
Like, unless he has something that we're unaware of. He's he's like playing in such a way that makes me think that he's looking for something.
Yeah, I agree. Meanwhile, Scavenging Ooze ran into a Maelstrom Pulse in the lower right. I can't look away from this match.
I can't either. I want to know what the answer is here. Well, Serum Visions to start.
More
and
searching.
Second Batter Skull here for Tobias.
Is that good?
That still doesn't get it done, though.
No.
Protection from black means that the germ tokens can't block.
Oh, Lingering Souls for Dolar. Robin Dolar wants to go to the semifinals. That's a decider down there.
Yeah, this is just morbid curiosity at this point.
I'm with you.
I want to know. Oh, clearing some space for that new Batter Skull. Okay. And pass the turn back with just that Snapcaster Mage. Now, if Boswell just draws a removal spell here,
Kill Snapcaster, attack.
End the game. He doesn't seem to have it. Now, there's also the Treetop Village that Batter Skull is protecting
How
against.
much removal is he going to have in his deck after sideboarding in this matchup?
Yeah, very little. Yeah, killing random Snapcaster Mages certainly isn't great. But
it doesn't come up very often.
But he will have Abrupt Decay. which he'll save in there for the Blood Moons, and that could have
Dejan
got the
answers
job
with
done.
Lingering Souls of his own. Dolar sends
So they're
into the
getting
red
spiritual
zone.
down there, yeah.
Block everything. Yeah, double block Fulminator Mage makes sense. None of this non-land permanence stuff. No, we're done with that.
Oh, they're gone again?
They're all
Yeah,
gone.
good. They had their orders.
"66 plays 2.
Ooh.
Liliana.
Liliana of the Veil.
Tick down, right? Kill the germ?
Yeah, I think you just kill the
You
germ.
don't even need to kill the germ, but I guess you do. I guess it's better than not killing the germ.
All right, is Tobias finally out of tricks here? He's got a Snapcaster Mage pulled to the front of his hand.
It sounds like a trick. Sounds like the answer to your question is no. Electrolyze?
Yeah, I think he peeled the Electrolyze
Yeah.
aside there.
That way he can kill Liliana
Yes.
and draw a card.
Wow,
If
that's
this is-
nice.
If this is a repeal. No, it's not a repeal.
Is he finally going to crack that thing?
No. We're not done yet. The other half of the Lingering Souls, by the way, for Dolar. Robin Dolar continuing to be the aggressor.
Remand off the top for Tobias.
Main phase Snapcaster for the Serum Visions. Crunch, Robin Dolar. Robin Dolar wins that game 3. They played that entire game 3 since Thrun came into play. Sequence of events, Thrun comes into play, picks up a Sword in Light and Shadow. The 2 White Rock decks start game 3. The 2 White Rock decks finish game 3. And Thrun is still holding a sword and being held off by... Wow. Rich, which one have you been watching?
Oh, it's been a 10-10.
Yeah, we've been watching the whole game.
Yeah.
We have watched every turn of this.
we
1,000
watched-
years. What an
yeah.
incredible game.
Yeah.
Just bonkers, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
we've
been unable to look away. We watched the game 3 of Dolar and Dajan in the picture-in-picture just because we couldn't look away from this. Craziness. So Robin Dolar, congratulations to him. He's through to the semis.
And there's a Cryptic Command off the top.
What? How does he... Do you have any idea how he gets out of this, Rich? How does he actually win this game? Do you have a theory?
All I can tell you is that as Toby Ash did the play a couple of minutes ago with Snapcaster, then electrolyze my own Snapcaster 1 to you redirect to kill Liliana.
Right.
He said, yeah, running out of options slowly but surely.
I mean, he's drawing enough.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, this is just absolutely insane. He gets decked eventually, right?
He does eventually. So in his sideboard, he's got 2 Vandal Blast, also an Engineered Explosives. I don't think he has enough colors, only 2 maximum for his deck, but Vandal Blast to strip away some of the equipment, perhaps.
Did he bounce a Batterskull with that Cryptic Command? Did he go tap, bounce Batterskull?
Maybe he's got Mana Leak in his hand, which currently, never mind, would have countered the Batterskull.
Yeah. Play a land to play for Mana Leak.
So he can remand this turn, though.
He's at 1. He can get a grip full of cards. But Boswell's on 70. He just gets decked eventually, right? Like, I don't know how... Wow, this is just mind-boggling. Cool match. I guess if he gets a click to pick up the Batterskulls and like somehow keeps up the whole engine of never getting hit by Thrun.
That life total, though, for Andrew Boswell is becoming a major issue.
Well,
He's at 70. I mean, because like one of the things I could
Sure-ish.
see here is like he's like I don't know if Mark brings it in, but he's got Keranos, God of Storms, in his sideboard, and that over the course of a long game can deal a lot of damage from all those incidental lightning bolts. But that's not going to get the job done with this. Like if your opponent's at 20, you could
no,
maybe.
I think it's like a click wearing 2 batter skulls, something
Okay,
like that,
something
flying
along
over.
those lines. Is Tobias at 1?
Yeah.
So we're 73 to 1.
Yeah. Just 73 to 1 happens all the time.
Going for the epic comeback. Now, I also see, I don't know if it comes in, but Mark has 2 Anger of the Gods in his board. What if he casts both? Like, does regeneration
And
prevent
catches
anything?
it without. Yeah, if regeneration
It still works, right?
If you kill it,
It's
you RFG.
only if it dies, then
Yeah.
it RFGs. Okay, so that's not an answer. I'm looking for anything here, Randy. I'm digging deep.
No, Thrun's really good in this matchup. That's
Yeah.
why you have one in your
Yeah,
sideboard.
Thron's fantastic.
Like, you play Thrun, and then they can't do anything. Well, apparently they can do some things. Apparently they can do many things. The open question is whether they can do enough things. Yeah, Snapcaster. None of us believed he was going to win this turn. Sure, no problem, Snapcaster. Cryptic commands? Sure, why not? Tap draw.
All right, so
La
here
la.
comes Batterskull. That mana leak, which would tap him out and,
Yep.
and make it so that Thrun does not have regeneration mana. There's a window here.
A window for
I don't know. Like, this is where, like, double Anger of the Gods.
Double Anger of the Gods
you
would
know,
get him.
Like, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
He's
He's got enough lightning bolts
he's
to
got
do
a-
it, but Hexproof just says no.
He's got enough lightning bolts to set the whole feature match area on fire.
Yes, he does.
However, what he does not have is enough to deal 73.
No.
It takes a lot of lightning bolts to deal 73.
There's a Scalding Tarn that he can't currently use.
Nope. I guess playing it's better than discarding it. Somehow, with all this, he's got a grip of cards, too. He's got, what, 6 cards in his hand? He can also steal the Germ token. Boswell can, of course, pick up his Batterskull, but Tobiash can put his own Batterskull onto the Germ.
All right, he's going to steal the Germ here.
Sure.
So
Oh, he
that's-
put the Batterskull on Snapcaster.
Yeah, he put the Batterskull on Snapcaster so that he can get above 1.
Yeah, he can take a hit now, right?
Yes.
6 and 6. Cannot take a hit if the Batterskull moves. Presumably Boswell moves Batterskull.
Yes, he still controls the Batterskull. He can move it onto the Thrun.
Yeah, he could. Tobiash could have put the Batterskull onto the Germ so that it wouldn't die to this play. I guess it doesn't accomplish that much. I mean, yay, you've got a Batterskull wearing a Germ token, but it wouldn't have attacked, and it's a black creature. This is the point in a playtesting session where the team says, look, this is never going to come up. We don't care who wins this game.
We don't figure this scenario out. We've got
We
bigger
want-
fish to fry.
Let's play 10 other games instead of finishing this one.
All right.
Yeah, block
Block.
with the Snapcaster.
Just get him another
Gain
nice
6.
chunk of life,
He's up to
though.
13 now.
Back up to 13. Unfortunately, Boswell's going to jump up here, too.
I'm
Going to get to 77.
ish.
Oh,
Like, to
man.
first approximation, Boswell's life total didn't move.
Like, the table judge is just like, whatever. He's at 1 million. And here's Vendilion click off the top for Tobias. Yeah, I keep looking at his deck list, or his library now. Like, this is... I'm now confident that he can keep chaining together things to keep himself alive. He's proven that, but
He's demonstrated a loop.
he has. But what's the end game?
It's Click wearing Batterskull.
There's
That's the end
Vendilion
game.
Click.
Click wearing Batterskull. He can let Thrun hit him, and then Click can pick up both Batterskulls over the course of 2 turns, right? And now Click is hitting for... What did he just show? He clicked himself for...
Yeah, he showed engineered explosives, I think.
Really? Engineered explosives isn't good?
What
I
can
guess Thrun regenerates through it. He doesn't want to blow up the sword.
I think he can only do 2 colors anyway, right?
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, anything he could kill with engineered explosives, he'd rather steal with the shackles.
Right.
Wow. Click picks up a Batterskull. Now, he still loses this row. When Click picks up the other Batterskull, then he can race 11 versus 10.
And get him down over the course of 73
turns.
Yeah.
How many Batterskulls does he have? Because this 11 versus 10 race, I don't think we have 73 turns.
Ooh, is that abrupt decay?
I believe it is. I think that's the end for the Vendilion Click. Ah! Finally!
Wow. That wasn't actually lethal there,
No,
right?
next turn it was.
Next turn it was.
I think Tobias had figured out like his path to victory really was Vendilion Click racing.
Yes.
So that was probably his last Vendilion Click.
Uh-huh.
You know what? We get another game of that.
Breath. There's a game 3 incoming
Wow.
for that match.
That was crazy.
That was an insane one.
He plays Thrun on what?